Well, we are going to start a new segment on the show. It's going to be called Right, Wrong, and Really? And it's basically going to be us admitting where we were right, because, we love gloating about that. Where we were wrong happens occasionally. And then the really portion is going to be like, that's shocking. Cannot believe that it happened. So I will start us off in the right category because I love taking a victory lap. And I was right about Jaylen Waddle. It was a good play this week against New England. I gave that update during our game previews last week. I said Jaylen Waddle is the play. Jaylen Waddle came through. I really don't have much more to say about Jaylen Waddle, but I was wrong about him in the preseason, but I was right about him in week 1.
All right. My thing about Waddle, and I don't know if we're supposed to give comments here, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Waddle did good week 1. So did Devontae Parker. They're also going to add Will Fuller back now.
Yep. That's why it will not be this week.
I'm just saying, I think that temper some expectations there just because Waddle started off good. I will actually admit that I was wrong about Waddle from the beginning. I thought I'm sure he'll be a top 3 still, but I just thought he was well behind Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith, which I was right about those two. Well, not really Jamar Chase. I was wrong about that one. Anyway, just saying, I didn't think Waddle would be this good, and he looked good. So
Waddle looked really good. It'll be interesting to see how that whole team comes together, but I like it. It was a good first start.
Still don't trust Tua, but I do. I did trust Waddle last week, and he came through for me. All right, Josh, what were you right about?
Well, my right is a little bit longer because I really like gloating. I was absolutely correct about Mr. TJ Hawkinson, and I have a feeling Joe might be talking about someone very similar to this. Everyone thought the Lions are so bad that TJ Hawkinson had an okay year last year. There's no one to throw to on the team. This dude's the real deal. He's just going to continue to be awesome. Him and some other guy on that team are going to get 10 targets a game, if not like way over. And honestly, I thought the third guy would be one of the wide receivers. And all the wide receivers really got 3 or 4 targets. Obviously, Goff threw a lot in this game trying to come back. But the third guy on the team might be Jamal Williams. Swift, Hawkinson, and Jamal Williams might be have fantasy value all year long. I knew Jamal Williams would have value, and I did not get him in enough leagues. But I just assumed it would be a wide receiver. Cephas did look good late in the game, which was my steal to win that wide receiver 1 job. I hope I just hope you guys invested in Hawkinson and not Pitts right now, because you drafted a tight end in the 4th or 5th round because you wanted 25 points, not 7.
It's true.
Fair enough.
That is true.
And I get it. These are all week 1. I was right about him. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not for the season, but
it's for a grain of salt.
As far as targets go, yeah, it was pretty. It was Hawkinson, it was Swift, and it was Jamal Williams, and then the drop off. There was a crater after that of who was the next person targeted. Was happy to see my boy Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, got a couple targets, and he got about 4 catches. So
honestly, the only
season long, he might be the right guy.
Yeah, the only receiver that didn't really look good was Tyrell Williams, and he still even got some points. So
he did. All right,
Josh,
Joe.
I'm going to follow up your Hawkinson with, I was right about Swift. Well, let me rephrase that. I was right about Detroit running backs. Jared Goff loves to dump it off. I don't think this team's ever going to have a lead all year. PPR, you got to get both these guys. It was nuts. I mean, Swift had 62% of the snap share in that split there. So Williams got the start. I'm interested to see how this works out because clearly they were behind. I think if they're ahead, Williams is probably going to get more play, more snap share, but I really think they're going to be down a lot. So I think Swift is going to kill it for you this year. And if you got him as an RB2 in a PPR, you can't ask for more than 8 freaking receptions in a game.
Every league I got him awesome. In, it was RB3 because of that. So I want to thank you, Joe, and I want to thank that random little red Q next to his name because everyone dodged him, and I got him in the 5th round or 4th round as my RB3. So
did we talk about the Swift slip?
The Swift slip was great. Did we? Okay, I could talk about it again.
Well, it happened. It was I think it was the last week of drafts where you talked about Swift was falling. We found, I think Joe wasn't a draft we were in. He was like in the 5th round, I think.
Yeah, he was going in the 5th pretty consistently. 4th or 5th, right on that.
I mean, that's going to look stupid when the season goes on.
I almost got him in the 6th after grabbing Waller and a wide receiver and 2 running backs. beforehand, but he was one
Unbelievable.
pick before me. But I got him in 2 leagues. I'm happy you're right, Joe. He's just going to steal. And honestly, it's not even like, oh, hey, Goff likes dumping it off. Swift looked fucking good.
Yeah.
Like he broke one, and then honestly, he could have broke all of them if there just happened to be that right hole at the right time.
Now, I said he was going to have 100 catches. He's on pace for 136 right now. Of course, so is Jamal Williams, but it's going to be awesome.
Once again, these are week one. Like, we're wait till we
Yeah, you were right in week 1. That's what we're taking a victory lap on. Okay, so here's where things hit the fan. So this is what we were wrong about. I don't have a player. I have an entire offense. The Tennessee offense. I was dead fucking wrong about the Tennessee offense. I need to start listening to myself before the season. If a team has a bad O-line, they're gonna suck. It happens every time. I thought Derrick Henry could push through because he has in the past, but their offensive line was awful. When they got down, they decided to still not throw to AJ Brown and Julio. Why not? Kind of confused there. As a whole, the offense was god awful, and Arizona's defense is good, but it's not that good. It's not what we saw on Sunday good. So I will see. I think Tennessee will bounce back as the season goes on, but for now, woof, big woof.
Yeah, actually, and I know people don't care about other people's leagues, but Billy did do the Tennessee stack, the ultimate Tennessee stack with AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, and Tannehill, and suffice to say, he lost that game.
Easily.
Easily
lost.
I assumed, this is my logic on Tennessee, and I like Tannehill, but I didn't think he'd be a top 10 quarterback until they got Julio, because I assumed the two of them would counteract each other and one of them would always be open. And then Derrick Henry and the combination of those two would feed off of each other. Like, oh shit, we got to sell it to stop the run. Okay, we'll throw it. Oh shit, we got to sell it to stop the pass. And then we run it. But I don't know what their game plan was, but it was terrible.
Taylor Lewan got fucking cooked, grilled, put for sale. Little kid bought it, put some ketchup on it, ate him. Like Chandler Jones killed that man on national television, and he got away with it. I mean, he's scotch-free right now. That was rough.
He admitted to it on Twitter. He said he's going to get better. Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah, you can't get worse. I
mean, that's the worst possible. Yeah, Chandler Jones came to play and pay that man his money.
Oh, did we talk about that yet?
Josh, go ahead.
Did we talk about that yet? About Chandler Jones and paying him his money?
Yes.
Pay that man.
Okay. Pay that man.
All right. So I was wrong, and this is week 1. Remember, I still think there might be a chance, and I think there's whatever, but I was dead wrong on Russell Gage. I thought Ridley would be the focus of the Eagles offense, and I thought Russell Gage would just cook the Eagles, even though I was going to start Ridley anyway. But I mean, it's 1 week. I mean, I'm wrong. The good news is, if you did bite on him, you got him in like the 10th round or later. So if you listen to me, I'm sorry. I got him in.
You said league winner, if I recall.
You did said league winner.
Yeah. This is 1 week. I'm not getting into that yet. I'm
not a week 1 winner.
Week 1 winner.
I didn't ever say I would start Russell Gage week 1 and redraft, to be fair. I did say that I think he could be a sneaky start, but I might have said that. All right, you know what? Honestly, I think I got him in entirely too many leagues, but you got him in the 10th round. And if you were short on wide receivers, your options were, like you could have started some random wide receiver from the Baltimore Ravens, but you wouldn't have expected Sammy Watkins to have a good game or something like that. I would have started Russell Gage 10 times out of 10 before this week over players like that. Yeah. I just assumed the Eagles defense.
You wouldn't have been wrong.
No, and I mean, this is
Who
just one of those weird
things.
Him? It was Steve Nelson, and he looked great. And I think the Eagles are actually going to have good defense this year, but I assumed that it would take him a little bit to adjust. It did not. They looked great. Every time I looked, everyone was just completely covered. Matt Ryan was running around, and he's not very fast. So I was wrong. I'm hoping there's still some hope. I would not start him for a long time. Like, even if he goes off and scores 40 points this week, do not start him the next week. I just
risky.
Give it some time.
Risky. All right, Joe, who were you wrong about?
I went live on the air here, and I said that Mike Williams does not belong in the NFL.
You did say he didn't belong in the NFL.
Yeah,
Forgot about that.
That was a large grasp there. He is a professional athlete, and I should have given him his due. Justin Herbert's going to throw the shit out of the ball. It's the same argument I made for Jared Cook. Mike Williams is going to be on the receiving end of some of those at least, and we should project that in the future he's probably going to have some good games. He did go 8 for 82 and a touchdown. It's a really good game right there for a guy that you got where you got him in drafts. So I'm sorry, Possums. I hope you didn't listen to me on Mike Williams.
To be fair, once again, this is another player that, like, if you owned him, you probably weren't starting.
Hey, it's week one. It's week one. He's gonna suck.
I had Deebo Samuel on the bench, and I don't regret that. I mean, I would have liked those 38 points or whatever the hell he put up, but I don't know. I'm not like sitting there like kicking myself. Man, I should have started Deebo Samuel over Allen Robinson. You know.
Yeah, I benched Mike Williams in a league where we could potentially start 5 wide receivers, and I still didn't start Mike Williams.
I hope that wasn't because of me.
It was not because of you.
It was, Joe. God damn it.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Joe? It wasn't because of the Washington defense and their secondary. It had nothing to do with that. It was all because of you. You talked me out of it.
Good.
Okay. We'll go to our last category, which is really? Basically, it's people that kind of shocked us a little bit. Mine is going to be Mr. Jamar Chase from the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not going to lie. I kind of bought in a little bit to him looking bad in the preseason. I thought he wasn't prepared to play football, and I thought that the Vikings were going to not embarrass him, but just like kind of give him that like welcome to the NFL moment where he doesn't catch the ball. He looked good. He looked fine. He got 100 yards and a touchdown. He looked exactly like how I thought Jamar Chase was going to look when he was coming out of college. I wouldn't say he was a world beater. Would not say that this is the best performance of his, this isn't going to be the best performance of his career, but it was a solid game, good start. I don't think a lot of wide receivers have ever started that way in their career. So, whoa, that was weird.
I have to disagree with you on this. The man said the little lines on the football in college were different, and I have to look for the laces. I don't know if I would want him on my team. I'm not taking away his 50-yard touchdown, which was phenomenal, and it was a great catch. I can't even take that from him, but I would sell him in redraft right now. In Dynasty, I'd be happy and I'd keep him, but I don't know, man. He looked good. He looked okay on the other catches. It was the one catch. I feel like
T. Higgins is still the one. Let's not get that confused. But Jamar Chase looks like a good 2, and it's not going to be Tyler Boyd this year. That's what it looks like based on week 1.
I'm just saying.
He gave Patrick Peterson the goodbye from the NFL treatment. Did you see that where Patrick Peterson just had no fucking idea? I think he ended his career right there.
Yeah.
But no, did they check the balls? Did he like Sharpie some little white lines on them? Or
he might have.
He got a silver Sharpie and drew a line on it for him.
Exactly.
It's not Deflate Gate. It's
all right. I can't get over that. I'm still not buying it. I would like to see it again. And maybe
for week 1, segment. It was kind of a shock.
I agree. It was shocking to me as well. I hope he's on my wrong later, and I hope that I can say, okay, man, this dude's just a G. He just didn't know how to talk about footballs. Right. On to my really. My really is Tyson Williams. Like, really? Like, everyone already thinks this is the dude, right? Like, he's the dude in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Well, they just signed another. No, they did. No. Sorry. They actually got one running back poached away from them, but they literally can't stop signing running backs other than that. I get it, injuries, whatnot, but they got Lat Murray, they got Le'Veon Bell, they got Devontae Freeman. And if no one thinks anything's left in the tank there, I'd be surprised. Bell and Freeman might just be on that looking for a ring signing situation, but we already know who the running back 1 is on this team, and it is Lamar Jackson. He had the most rushing yards. He is always going to have the most rushing yards, most likely, because they're probably going to – they even said today that it's going to be all the running backs. I just wouldn't get too excited. He's not this year's Phillip Lindsay or James Robinson. I mean, it's not that. I'm just saying he had one good run, and it was 35 yards and a touchdown. And it was great. It was a great run. I will say he had some athleticity out there. It was great. The rest of his rushes were 8 for 30 yards, which is respectable, but it's not great. I mean, he had nine carries. I think that's the thing is people are like, oh yeah, he had a few catches too, but I just don't get your hopes up here. This has the makings of a trap here. And if somehow he was in free agency and no one grabbed him, which I'm pretty sure he was taken in all leagues because of the whole Baltimore running back debacle, just don't get your hopes up here, man. Don't start him every week. You can start him again if you want this week, but I wouldn't.
So my thought actually is the same thing I have with Tennessee. The Baltimore O-line looks awful. Andre Villanueva was getting eaten alive out there, and the Oakland defense is not that great to be having Max Crosby and Carl Nassib living in that backfield. That I don't think I would have any of the running backs this year, and I would fade Lamar because the O-line is bad, as I said it would be when they traded Orlando Brown. It's bad, and they need to come to terms with that.
I think he's going to be a serviceable flex position throughout the year, but those thinking that he's going to be like a steady RB2, it's not going to happen. They're going to continue to mix Bell and Freeman or whoever the hell else in there. It's just going to keep happening more and more throughout the season. So
if this was Gus pre-injury, obviously, if this was Gus, I would feel a lot better, but they're on their third. There was a reason he was the third on their roster. They didn't have that much faith in him. It was more of a hopeful, like, hopefully this guy can be that guy. And I agree with Joe. I think it's like an occasional flex. I'm not saying drop this guy by any means. Do not do that. But occasional flex or bye week fill-in, I just don't get your hopes up. Don't think you got the bona fide starter every year or every week.
All right, Joe.
All right. So mine is Deebo Samuel. I was, like I said earlier, I was really high on Ayuk the whole year. I figured him, Deebo, and Kittle would kind of cannibalize each other just a little bit, but to see that kind of performance out of Deebo really puts things into perspective as to what could happen in this offense. Kittle had a serviceable day, and then I assume Ayuk's going to work his way into that. Like I said, I think Garoppolo really liked what he saw against Deebo. The Lions put no effort into stopping him whatsoever, but I was avoiding him like the plague. I thought it was going to be Ayuk, Show, and Kittle, and I thought Deebo was going to be like the wide receiver 2. A couple blow up games here and there, but I was not expecting 190 yards. That's wild.
That was wild.
Completely agree. I actually got Deebo in our main league, and I got him in like the 8th round. And the only reason I grabbed him was like because he's still there. I didn't even like really want him. I was just like, all right, well, I have a couple. I'm gonna probably get Ayuk in a couple leagues. So, does anyone know how to actually pronounce Ayuk? Is it Ayuk?
I don't know. I've heard Ayuk. I've heard Ayuk. It's one of the two.
Let's just pronounce it however we want until he's good.
Until he's good.
Yeah.
Would it shock
he's a professional?
Would it shock either of you this week if they come out and the stat lines are flipped between him and Samuel? Like,
no,
Ayuk had 10 catches for 180 yards, and Deebo caught maybe one ball for like 15 yards. Wouldn't shock me.
That's what scared me about this offense. I mean, watching Ayuk play last year, he looks awesome. He looks the part of a wide receiver 1. Deebo never looked that guy to me. He looked like a less efficient AJ Brown on there, but I mean, Ayuk really looked like the wide receiver 1 to me. So